here we go. Alright, we have our usual fantasy position. And I'm going to take this pawn. So far Pranav has been avoiding taking it. He's thinking about it longer this time though. Okay, so he is going to take. I'm going to take here and bring my bishop back. Interesting. He gives me the bishop pair. Let's take this pawn. Interesting. What is the purpose of that move? He blocks off his rook. Oh, he's trying to play this and trap my bishop. Let's just bring the bishop all the way back to where it was. Or maybe here. If I play here, then he just plays c5. And I guess I could trade, but I don't really want to. I'm just going to bring it back to e3. Okay, so I'm a pawn up. I just gotta finish my development, get my king to safety, and then go from there. Either gonna develop the knight here or here. I think probably here, because if I go to c3, then this pawn blocks me from moving forward. I feel like he's going to play bishop c5. No, he doesn't. Okay, let's develop the knight. I also like putting it here because it is defending my center a little bit. I was hoping to castle long, but I guess that's not going to happen now. But I'll trade off the dark squared bishops. I'm fine with that. could play here, and then the knight has to go back to this square. And then if I play here, it just comes back though, so I feel like that's not that great. For now, let's just play rook g1. I feel like that's a pretty reasonable move. Okay, my knight is hanging now. His knight isn't really threatening anything. I guess I could come here, but he's obviously not going to take here, and coming to these two squares doesn't do anything, so I'm just going to play rook d1. I could come, if I come here, he's going to play here. And that's annoying, actually, because then my knight is in trouble. I could play here, and then we trade knights. I suppose that's fine. If I come here and he takes, and then I take, and he takes this, I take his rook. Whoops, I would take his rook. He takes mine, and then my bishop. I don't know, I'm not a huge fan of that line. Let's trade knights, I guess. Oh, interesting. I wasn't expecting him to go there. That's better, actually, than I was thinking he would come here. I messed up, because now I can't attack his knight. Yeah, that was a really bad move. Okay. Let's see, what's the best way to recover from this? If I come here, he takes, I'm in check, so I can't do that. Whoops. Bro, I fucking hate the arrow drawing system. Oh my god. He takes, I'm in check, so I take here, and then he would take this, and it's rook and bishop. If I move my rook away, then he just gets the knight for free. And my bishop would be under attack. Can't come here with my bishop to try and block off his rook, because he would take and then take this. Yeah, I really screwed myself up. I should have played knight c4. Alright, let's just play this. And I'll trade the exchange. Damn, one pawn move and you go from slightly ahead to completely losing. Sad. Yeah, I was assuming you'd come back there. Let's bring the king up to defend against the pawn, maybe? Or to defend the pawn, rather. I'm gonna come here. Although when I pushed this, I should have gone here actually, because then I could have tried to trap the knight. That was bad. Let's bring the knight forward, but then he's gonna trade rooks with me, and I don't want that. So let's come over here. That's interesting. I guess that was the idea. Not much I can do now. I guess I have to do this. Assuming he's going to take this pawn. This game's just completely over. I need him to blunder like back rank mate or something. That's really my only chance. I imagine he's going to play h6 or h5 pretty soon though, so that's not really interesting. It's not really what I was expecting. I guess his goal is to come here. and attack this pawn. Just play here. He's going to play this, and then I'm going to move my king down, and he's going to take this way. And that's what I'm imagining. That's not what I was expecting. Slide the bishop back. I have a4, which could be interesting. I'm not really sure what he's doing. I mean, all he needs to do is push these 3 pawns and win the game. Like, I have no pawns over here. Just make some queens. I guess I'll go over here. So now he has made some room for his king. So I have no back rank tricks anymore. And he's also preventing me from playing a check, and if his rook was on d8, for example, playing a check and taking there. Interesting, I guess I'll take this pawn. Might as well take that one too. Oops. I could play here. I feel like that kind of traps in my bishop, but starts pushing my pawns, which is, you know, one of my main goals, so let's go ahead. And now I can play b4 and c5. Interesting. I guess the goal is to prevent me from playing c5. Still played b4, right? The bishop and pawn protect each other, so I should be fine there. Ah, that was bad. That was just a terrible game all around. Good on Pranav for spawning that tactic. I really don't want to play the same line again. I'm going to play this. Do I want to take with the pawn or the knight? I think I like my knight being in the center. I think he's going to play here now. He does not. Interesting. Let's bring my bishop on the long diagonal. There it is. So I could drop my knight back, which I like because then I'm pressuring the pawn. I could also bring it over here, but then after he plays here, it doesn't really have anywhere to go and has to come back here. So I'm gonna come here. And if he plays this, then I just go right back to where I was. And that's perfectly fine. Interesting. Wasn't expecting that. So now I can take, and he takes, and then if I take, he takes. And I can't recapture. I could also take, and then after he takes, I move my knight here. But I don't think that really works. Could move my knight here right away, but then if he takes, I take, his queen takes. I think I'm gonna bring my knight here. But that is the same problem as before, because after he plays a3, I think I'm going to take once and then bring my knight there. So now let me see, if I come here, he plays a3, I take, he takes, I take. And I've got more defenders than he has attackers. And if he pushes the pawn, then I just take it with my bishop. Okay. I still think I can take this, right? Take, he takes, I take, he takes, I take, and then I don't think this knight can go anywhere dangerous at the end of that line. Okay, now he wants to play a discovered check. So let's cover that. Now when the knight moves away, I'm not forced to respond to that check. Can also play rook b8 at some point in order to make moving the knight not dangerous. I'm not sure. I have no idea what Pernop's going to play next. Probably just develop the dark squared bishop. Would be my guess. Unless he poses some super big threat, I think almost certainly my next move is to castle. But we'll see. Depends what he does. Thinking for a long time, which I'm guessing is good. Huh. That's an interesting move. Not sure what the goal is, because the bishop there isn't really doing anything extra that it wasn't doing before, besides hitting this pawn. But if I castle, then I'm protecting it. So let's suppose I castle. What is he gonna do? I feel like the knight doesn't really have any great discoveries. He might sack the bishop, maybe? I don't know. I don't see what he gets out of that. If he sacks the bishop and wins somehow, then GG, that's just too good for me. I'm going to castle. like if he sacks the bishop, then brings the queen in with check, I bring my king back here. He doesn't have mate here though because my rook defends that. I don't know. Maybe he's got something that I don't see. Okay. So I definitely want to prevent him from going there. I could play g6. I don't love the look of that. Just because it leaves my dark squares pretty weak. But I could do it. I could just play h6 and then after he checks move over and be like, you don't really get anything from checking me. But then he might sack the other bishop and who knows? I don't know. I'd like to bring my knight back, but then my bishop hangs. I'd also like to play this, but now he can take it and I can't recapture. I think he's going to play this on his next move, is my guess. Which isn't good. I could play here, but then he takes, oh, and I can I recapture with this rook, and then he takes this, and I don't have anything after that. What to do? This is a tough situation. I feel like I need to block against this check. I could just let him do it and move over. So if I play g6, I think he's going to play here, and then my knight is trapped, right? Like he would have 3 attackers, I only have 2 defenders. I guess I could just play here and counterattack his knight. But that seems a bit wild. Alright, I guess I'll play g6. Too bad I don't have a check with my knight. Yeah. I guess I gotta go for the counterattack on his knight. But then what? What if I put my knight here, if he takes with the queen, then I take his rook with check. If he takes with the pawn, then I take this, and he can't take because I take the rook again with check. Oh, and that's interesting. Damn, I didn't play that well. I think here, I think this move was better because let's say he took the queen and I would take the rook. Oh no, but then he takes the rook and I take the rook and he still takes this, so it didn't work. I did have this check at the end, but I don't think that really did much. Okay, I guess I'll take. Actually, I guess this is fine because he sacked his knight. So we're still even. I guess he's considering playing this versus just taking and trading queens. If he takes this, then I just have to move over. And maybe there's some sort of perpetual. Oh, well, I have to take. I guess I will trade again if he wants to. I wish my rook was here. That would be amazing if he just played like b3 for some random reason. Obviously he's not going to do that then. I'll play here and get my bishop on this diagonal. Okay, I could give this check. Now I don't think it does much though, he just hides his king away. And then I guess my rook comes here. I don't really know what I get from that. I could try and trade bishops. And give myself a passed pawn. That's not a bad idea. If he doesn't trade though, then I'm not sure what my bishop is really doing on that square though. Let's, we can try and go for the trade. I feel like he might come here. Here. In which case I'll slide my rook over and try and bring it this way. thinking for a long time. Okay, so he does take the trade. Maybe I want to take with the rook, honestly, and keep my pawns together. If I take with the pawn, and he starts running his king over, he can beat me, right? I push, he runs over here, I push with check, and he blocks. But I could cut the king off also. I like having the pass pawn. Damn, he's beating me to the pawn. Okay, I will come up here and attack these pawns now. This also cuts his king off from approaching this pawn. You can't defend these pawns, not both of them. I mean, the only way to do that is moving the rook over, but then I get a square closer to promotion. So I think he has to play here, and then I take this pawn. He takes that pawn. I take this pawn. And then I have these two connected passers. And I like my position there. Maybe I should have given this check first to force his king into like one of these two squares and then taken this guy. That might have been better. I like the placement of my king. It's preventing him from infiltrating. I think it's fine to trade this stuff off, right? If he moves this pawn at all, then I have this. I guess I'll bring my rook over here. Bring it over here, my king over here, to protect against him moving that other pawn forward somehow. And that way he doesn't have a check because his king blocks that square. My goal is to play b4. Oh, okay. I was going to say my goal is to trade off the pawns, but he's just doing that for me. So those pawns are untouchable now. If he takes one, then the other one queens. And that other pawn can't move forward now. So now I just walk forward with my king and grab that pawn. And that is a good game. Alright, good games, Pranav.